Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to a new episode of the No Holds Barred Wrestling Podcast. I'm Bobby Melendez, joined by my tag team partner, Josh Kimmel. Josh, what's up, brother?
Man, I'm ready to go to war tonight after watching all this Brock Lesnar footage this morning. I am just aggravated. Imagine just watching that man for 20 minutes straight. You could probably get through 200 of his matches. Gosh, man, I don't know, man. I can't wait to
I like that. That was pretty good. That was pretty good.
No, that joke. Let me tell you something. They had Brock Lesnar's top 25 matches on YouTube. It was an 18-minute long video. I'm going, how are they going to get all 25 matches? I'm thinking, is this going to be a 3-hour? Because, they have those on WWE.
Was it the 25 greatest moments? Because I saw that.
No, it said matches.
Oh, okay.
It said matches, brother. I'm like, 18 minutes. All right. No, but I watched a lot of Brock Lesnar this morning, and we'll get there. But how are you doing, man?
I'm good, man. It's other than producing, actually been off this week in regards of being on the show because the Dolphins have a bye week. So I just been not chilling. I've been coaching my son's basketball team, work, producing, content, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. But I haven't been on air. I haven't done any of this. So this is my first time this week.
Is that why you look like Thor from the Avengers too?
That's right. I'd been on my couch, big belly, just, ready to go. Yeah. I went, oh, shoot, we have a show tonight? Okay. I guess I got to go back. Vacation over. No, but thank you for that. But no, man, we got a fun show, dude. Obviously, we're going to just catch up on some quick wrestling news and updates. But we got a fun show. Obviously, we're going to discuss the greatest rivals of Brock Lesnar, his Sinister Six, which on the surface seems easy because there are some guys that automatically you think Brock Lesnar, you think of these group of guys, but then you have some of the strays. You have some guys out there like, oh, wait a second, what about this guy? What about that? So that's going to be very interesting. And then, Josh, you proposed something during the week about in honor of War Games, Survivor Series War Games that is coming up. You're like, what if we created our own War Games teams and discussed it on the show? And of course, I was like, that's great. Let's roll with it. And I said, what if we took it a step further? What if we run our teams through a simulation, i.e. Chat GPT, and then let Chat GPT decide who wins. So we're going to go ahead and do that. First off, this week in wrestling, big news on Monday Night Raw. Maxine Dupree, if you didn't know, this is real. Maxine Dupree defeated Becky Lynch for the Intercontinental Championship. Big win, shocking win. AJ Lee with the assist. Becky Lynch plays the greatest villain. I don't want to see her as a baby face anymore. Not one. She is an amazing heel. I love this whole, I'm going to call my lawyers. This was illegal. She's very good as a heel. But I thought it was really cool that Maxine Dupree won. She, Becky Lynch puts her over. It gets a good pop, but also obviously drives the story of Becky and AJ Lee. And of course, we found out yesterday now Becky and AJ Lee will move on to War Games. They're going to join the women's War Games match. Before we get into the women's War Games match, what did you think of Maxine Dupree defeating Becky Lynch?
Good. Becky doesn't need that title. AJ Lee. I didn't think AJ Lee and Becky needed to fight over that title because it's not about the title to them, so it's fine. My first thoughts were, who's next? Who takes it off of Maxine Dupree? Because she's not gonna make it. She's not good. I watched that entire match. It was very sloppy, very bad. I can't. If we're making fun of Zelina Vega because she was bad during her U.S. title reign, this is going to be awful in the wrestling ring capacity. But so that's what I'm thinking. Like, who's going to be the next top heel that takes it away right away? Because it's going to happen, Bobby, within weeks. I can't see her. Couldn't imagine Maxine Dupree holding this title for much more than a month. But it's something new. Did we expect it? No, honestly, I didn't expect it. I didn't expect this to happen. I thought they were going to fight over the IC title, and they meaning AJ Lee and Becky Lynch. So it is what it is, man. It's something different, something you would like, I would assume. No, I mean that like you always want like chaos and different and new, and so I get it. So I wasn't a shot.
I like surprises. That's to me. That's a big. That is just as important to wrestling as wrestling itself is the shock factor of it all. Now, very quick Survivor Series starting to shape up. John Cena will defend the Intercontinental Championship against Dominic Mysterio. Very quick. How you feeling about that?
Sure, I guess that's okay. What do we? No one else had 2 matches with John. So what does that mean? Is Dom going to walk away with his title? And so all the predictions of he's going to defend the title against Gunther at Saturday Night's Main Event, it can go away. Dominic can win this title back. That's what it says to me. I think Dominic may win this title back. I think there's a situation where he does defeat John Cena, and he probably deserves to. Let me ask you this. Does it bother you that we're having this tournament, yet someone gets a shot, another one-on-one shot? Then what's the whole point of this tournament?
To be John Cena's final opponent. I think that's the point of it. You're John Cena's final, the greatest of all time, quote unquote, the greatest of all time. You have the opportunity to wrestle his last match because you're going to be, it reminds me of that John Cena promo when John Cena told Roman Reigns, you're going to be, and ended up being Cody Rhodes, but you're going to be that question mark to a trivia. Who was the guy who gave John Cena his 17th win? That's what this is. Whoever wins the tournament is going to face John Cena in this very final match. So that's the payoff. It doesn't have to be the IC title, even though I think would Dominic winning the IC title hurt this thing? No, because then John Cena is putting Dominic over, and Dominic now could say, "I beat John Cena at Survivor Series," and then whoever wrestles John Cena at Saturday Main Event is going to be his final opponent. So it makes sense because you're right. Nobody's had 2 matches against John Cena in this run, minus Cody Rhodes. So, but remember what I thought? I thought Brock was going to beat John Cena first, then John Cena was going to get his win back, and then they would go into Survivor Series. Didn't happen. So I did think somebody should have 2 because even though it's a little story, there's not that much time. There's a story here. So now Dom gets a second chance. Do I feel strongly he's going to win it back? No, because then it's like, okay, would that make a win, or would that make a win mean less in the final run to beat John Cena in the retirement match? Because if John Cena loses at Survivor Series, I highly doubt he's going to lose twice in the retirement match. Mm-hmm. So it makes a lot of sense. I think it's great because much as people don't want to believe it, Dominic Mysterio is the future of wrestling. I think getting 2 matches against John Cena proves it, and just his heat, and the vibe you get from him, and how he carries himself on First Take recently and all that. He is the future of the WWE, maybe as the top heel in the business. And so this is major for him. This is bigger than having Gunther be the final opponent of John Cena, in my opinion. So I like it. But I'm kind of hoping John wins just so he could drop it to the next guy. However, Dominic winning it won't hurt nothing. It just help Dominic a lot more, saying, I beat John Cena.
I think this is if John drops it, you're right. I think John will win his last match. If John drops it tonight, or not tonight, Survivor Series. If he drops it at Survivor Series, John's not going to lose his last match. You don't have to lose your last match anymore. Sting didn't. Sting won. So, and it was great, and people loved it. So I think there's a chance John wins his last match against 2. We don't know. We don't know yet. So that being said, what else happened this week?
Oh, well, let's just talk about War Games very quick, since we will have our own War Games here today. Not the biggest surprise in regards of Brock finally showing up. I think they did it perfect. I really did I did enjoy the final run, even though I thought Roman would be the John Cena spot, or John Cena would be in the Roman spot. But I did like how they played it off. They clear the ring. CM Punk is having his moment. Brock's music. Here comes Brock dominating. And now you hear Roman Reigns' music, and Roman comes in. And they didn't do this huge back and forth. It's Superman punch. Brock sells the out of it, bounces out of the ring, and now you have your teams, which makes this War Games a lot more fun than I thought it was going to be. Just the facts, how I feel about it. Because you add in, first off, Roman, the Usos, the Usos being there. I guess Jay, I don't know. It's like, wish we kind of mixed up the teams a little bit more, but it is what it is. But having, Roman now with the Usos, Cody, and CM Punk, those main three, I love that. And I hope they wear the face paint. I saw the promo for Cody Rhodes, or at least the image, he has face paint on like in the old WCW. I hope they kind of do that. That'd be a lot of fun. We'll see. But if you look at the Paul Heyman's team, right, or whoever you call it, the Vision's team, I mean, that's like you got Brock, Drew McIntyre, Braun Breaker, Bronson Reed, and Logan Paul. And so it's like, how? Yeah, I'm just messing around. But you have that team, and you're like, how could you beat that team? I don't care if you have Cody or Punk or the Usos. There's no one. Oh wait, you got Roman. Okay, that makes it a lot more interesting. So adding Roman to this with Brock, but it makes this, for me, I'm looking forward to these War Games. I always love War Games just because it's nostalgic. WCW, it brings me back. I love the matchup. But now you're adding these two combustible elements. Sign me up. I love it.
It's fine. I'm not excited. So, I mean, I'm not. I'm just not. I don't care. When it's hell in a cell. That's what it is now. It's now just, it's November. I guess we get to have War Games. Cool.
Well, this one has a story to it, though. It's like there's so much. Like I get where you're coming from, but that's what the idea of that. There's no story to this. There's a lot of story here. There's a lot of tension buildup. You have the story of the long storied rivalry of Brock and Roman Reigns, or Brock and CM Punk. You got CM Punk, and you got McIntyre. You have the Uso. You have Vision, and you have Punk. There's a lot in here, and you look at it, you go, wait a second, what about the story on the other team? You like Team Brock. I have no concerns about them staying together and doing their job. They're going to destroy. But if you look at Team Cody or Punk, there's a lot of combustible elements there in that team. You got Jimmy and Jay. Jay's been giving off some vibes. Roman and CM Punk, Roman and Cody. There's intrigue, there's drama. So
there is.
I think you have a point if we're talking about the women's match. And not that I'm hating on the women's match, because there's a lot of good talent in that match. That is star power to the T. But I would say, why? Why do you need that? You could have done a traditional Survivor Series match, and it probably would have been better. But you're doing 2 War Games. So I'll give you the women's match in regards of that concept. I hope you understand where I'm coming from. But the men's match, there's a lot more intrigue and story to it to allow this to be War Games.
No, I do. I listen, there's story there, but the stories they're old. There's not new. And I just wish LA Knight was a part of this. I mean, I know he's a part of the John Cena tournament, but now he gets now that Sheamus is hurt, he gets the Miz,
which I don't hate, because Miz is, obviously a big part of John Cena's story, but he already was in the tournament. He was eliminated. So that's why I don't like that. They could have found anybody and thrown them in there and let them lose to LA Knight. I don't know why they went the Miz. I think they could, and I know, Edge, stop, guys, stop. He's AEW. Just stop with that fantasy. You could go Joe Hendry. I don't think he's had a match for this tournament yet. You could have gone anybody, NXT. You didn't have that. Now that I said NXT, this came to me. John Cena, supposedly, Triple H had told John Cena, I want to make Saturday main event, John Cena tribute night. Whatever the hour, 2 hours of the show. John Cena said he didn't want to do that. He wants it NXT, the new guys versus the old guys. He wants NXT versus WWE. He wants NXT to be featured. What do you think of that?
If it is NXT versus WWE guys, that'd be dope. I don't have they advertised any matches yet? And if it's true,
not that I know of.
Then if it's true, then John's got to fight a WWE NXT guy then, right?
Yeah, I mean, he should. I think I'm going to be honest. I'm not really interested in seeing John Cena versus Gunther. I'm not. And not to hate on Gunther. Gunther had Goldberg. He's had who else did he beat?
He beats everybody, but
No,
listen,
but there was somebody else he retired. I don't know.
do you
I
want
know
LA Knight? Do you want
no,
Rusev?
no.
Who's the other people? Because I know it's like it's there's no more
Again,
surprise.
I think his
you want
final opponent
Solo?
should have been Dominic Mysterio. I think it should have been Dominic. I would have rolled
You,
with Dominic, but
but do you want Solo? Like really, the only option left is Gunther. It's the only option. There's no other option at this point. So they really messed this tournament up.
they
But
did. They did.
it's all right. They should. You know what? I'm so disappointed that I can expect Matt Cardona not winning, but you guys have a partnership with TNA. Not letting Dolph Ziggler go over on
Yeah,
Solo
I was
was
surprised.
a massive mistake.
But you see, that's what I'm talking about with surprises. Yes, it was a surprise that they came out down that ramp. However, the non-surprise, the what do you call the thing that I was surprised with them losing, surprised me with Nick Nemeth winning, Dolph Ziggler winning a match. That would have been interesting because there's so much history there. But it's also Dolph Ziggler. It's Nick Nemeth. Come on, like the other guy going over. Come on, dude. What are we doing here? And I'm not hating on. I love Solo, but it's like that would you could have had the Wide Six interfere or whoever they're going against. Now on next Friday, I think there's a traditional Survivor Series match. Sami Zayn with his group of misfits versus MFT. It's like you could have had something like that pop up and a Nick Nemeth continue because that would have been more interesting because you do have that partnership with TNA. So we'll see how that continues to play out. The Women's Survivor Series match, we talked about it a little bit earlier. Looks like Charlotte, even though we knew that was kind of the case, Charlotte will be a part of that match with Rhea Ripley and Alexa Bliss and so forth. But now we add in the returning AJ Lee and Becky Lynch. I know how you feel about War Games itself, but talk to me about not the style of match, but the talent in the match. What are your expectations for the performance of the match? It's the best way I could say it to make them say something nice.
So we're gonna have a moonsault by Io with the trash can. That's gonna be awesome. We're gonna have Becky get beat up by AJ Lee. That's gonna be legitimately awesome, I think. Nia Jax is going to hurt somebody. She might break somebody's nose. So that's a potential good outcome, I guess. If it's anybody, make it Charlotte. No, listen. If they just took Nia and Last Legend out and just made it better, I'd be more interested. I understand there's no story. I understand it's a mess, but I'm not interested in seeing Lash Legend and Nia Jax in a War Games match. I'm just not. But it is what it is, Bobby. I'm excited to see the spots. The girls do put on good shows. Rhea Ripley puts on good matches. She sells the hell out of stuff. She could do some crazy things. Charlotte, as much as they make fun of her, she's athletic as hell. She's been probably doing the best work of her life. Even though she put on her best Jenny from Forrest Gump impersonation with that hippie outfit she wore the other night. Yeah, I watched that segment. No, but listen, it is what it is, Bobby. It is what it is. I think the baby faces are going to win.
Yeah, I think baby faces win the women's match and the heels win the men's match. That's where I'm at right now. That's where I'm at. I think the baby face side is going to blow up. I think it's going to cost them the match. I think go ahead.
There might be a snake in the baby face.
Ooh, damn.
There might be, and it might be Jimmy.
Hey, Adrian of the Rainy Day Podcast. We're doing a pre-show, post-show next Saturday. We'd love to have you guys on if you're available. Appreciate you, Adrian. We'll get back to you, my brother. Adrian of the Rainy Day Podcast, host of 2 Raw for SmackDown. Great dude, man. He has his own podcast, obviously. Pair up with him on Finn's TV. We'll be with him on Tuesday night. Obviously, FTSN. He hosts the what's that? Florida Cats Dirty Rats podcast for the Florida Panthers. Great dude. We would love to do that, man. You come up on here, of course, too. But also, I think I speak for Josh. If we work it out, we can figure out getting on your podcast as well.
Home and home, yeah.
Yeah, man. We'd love to do it. Now, let's get into it. Do you want let's do Sinister 6 first.
Okay.
Let's get because and then we'll get into our War Games. And Adrian, I posted it on Twitter, on X. The teams are ready. The War Games matches, our War Games teams are set up already. If you want to take a look at that and come up and tell us who you think may win after that, once we get into it, that'd be great. But let's get into Brock Lesnar's Sinister Six. Put that up there. And let me tell you, I mean, all the flack that Lesnar gets, deservedly so, and whatever, what a career, legitimately. I mean, and this guy could wrestle anybody. Legitimate giants, brawlers, high flyers, traditionalists. You say, okay, Brock, you're going against Kurt Angle, 5-star match. Brock against the Big Show, epic big clash match. Brock versus Goldberg, the gods collide. What do you, Zeus and Hades, whatever. You get all these type of. You just throw anybody at them, and you're gonna get something. And that just tells you. And that's just not baby Brock. That's not just the next big thing, Brock Lesnar, who had an epic run, but he was only there for 1 year, which is crazy to think that that time when he wrestled the Undertaker, Hogan, Rock. The Rock versus Brock at SummerSlam, the Big Show, I was about to say, Kurt Angle. That run was only for 1 year. And then when he came back, we all knew if you watched Brock Lesnar's first run in the company, you knew how good he was or great he was in the ring. You knew his backstory about it being a amateur wrestler, his run in college, goes out to play in the NFL. So when he came back, he was held back, or he held himself back because he didn't need to do all that extra stuff anymore. He didn't have to do the flips and all this extra. He only had to do the belly to back suplex City, F5, get out of the ring, because you dominate enough guys, a bunch of random. And John Cena, of course, sacrificed himself for that to kind of set that in motion. But then when you have those matches where you go, okay, Brock versus Daniel Bryan. You're like, oh, Bryan needs to get murdered. And all of a sudden, Daniel Bryan starts fighting back and actually surviving this. That's when it means more. Or Undertaker versus Brock. There's no way Brock's. Look at John Cena got destroyed. Oh, crap. Wait a second. Undertaker's actually fighting. It made it worth more. So I really did enjoy going back and watching Lesnar stuff because it made me appreciate him more in the ring as a competitor. And, the thing about how the impact he made as soon as he stepped in between those ropes. We know he was in OVW. We know what he had there. He's tag team with Shelton Benjamin, but comes back. Remember how he destroyed Al Snow, Maven, the Hardy Boys. I mean, just if you listen to that crowd, if you just don't look in the ring, if you don't watch the video and you just listen to the crowd, who's getting murdered? Somebody's dying in there. And then you go back and you see Spike Dudley get destroyed. It's like, damn. This guy has had such an impactful career. So when I went back and I said, oh, this guy, I'm thinking like the Sinister Six. This is easy. And I'm like, wait, damn it. What about him? Wait, shoot. What about him? So I'm going to be very intrigued. I want to see how much, if we agree on all of them, or do we stray off? I think we will. I'm going to say we're probably going to stray off on one because we usually do. We're usually right on up until the final spot. So I'm going to let you go first. Well, first off, just Brock Lesnar in general. What are your thoughts on Lesnar's career, his rivalries overall, and then we'll get into it.
Yeah, so you go back and you watch the younger Brock Lesnar, you go, oh, wow, this guy's awesome. And you watch the top 25 greatest moments and this and that. And the stuff I talked about last week about him grabbing the Money in the Bank briefcase and him getting booed, not booed out of the arena like, boo, go, we hate you, Brock. No, it's boo, this sucks, we are upset. Or him, he got more of that later in his career, but you're right. Early in his career, when he was a beast and still a heel, his reactions were way different. The fans cared about him more because he put on good matches. As their career went on, and now we're in this Brock Lesnar, yes, he gets the pop. Yes, he gets the pop, but universally fans are disappointed in Brock Lesnar in the past 15 years, I would say. But that being said, he still gets the pop. Him throwing up the ring with the tractor, that gets a pop. Him being, fans boo him. Oh, we don't want you being the Money in the Bank. The next week he's on Raw dancing with like what's that thing called? Boombox, right? With the cassette tapes. People are like, oh, this is fun. This is fun, Brock. So it goes back and forth with the fan base. And yes, I'm part of that. I like the dancing with the briefcase, but I also hated the match. I hated that he could just walk in there and do that stuff. But let's get into it. He's a 7-time WWE champion, 3-time WWE Universal champion. He is a 1-time IWGP third belt champion, and he's a 1-time IWGP World Heavyweight champion. And that goes into my first guy, Kurt Angle. You cannot talk. We already talked about Kurt Angle and Brock before, so this isn't going to be long. I'll add one wrinkle into it. How did Brock Lesnar obtain this IWGP championship? What happened to it? What's the history? He won it in October of 2005. He held it for 280 days before being stripped in July 2006 due to a no-show for a title defense. After he left New Japan Pro Wrestling, Antonio Inoki recognized him as the lineal champion, and he founded the IGF, where that lineage continued to be promoted. He defended it against Kurt Angle, and then therefore Lesnar lost it, not to Kurt Angle, but to Shinsuke Nakamura. In his 600, Shinsuke Nakamura defeated Kurt Angle and Brock. Hold on, let me see. Shinsuke unified both the NGPW and the IG versions by defeating Kurt Angle, ending the lineage of the title belt Lesnar had possessed. So he was stripped, but the lineage continued. So once Nakamura unified those titles, therefore Brock Lesnar was never the champion. So technically, Nakamura ended Lesnar's run.
Got it.
In 2008 by defeating Kurt Angle.
Yeah. And I think people don't realize that too. Is first off, I'm with you, Kurt Angle 100%. Kurt Angle's absolutely, two guys who had short runs in WWE at first, and then of course Kurt Angle had a better career in TNA, but Brock left WWE, went to go compete, challenge, go to the Vikings practice squad. I think played the preseason, got cut, injury. And then he went to the IWJP, whatever, the New Japan, and then of course went to UFC and killed it there. So that just tells you how big he was throughout his career. But you think about, that match in Japan, or that, the rivalry they carried over across the continents, and then you think about what their storied feud in WWE, not just WrestleMania 19, but also on SmackDown. It was, I think it was the Iron Man, not Iron Man. How many pinfalls? I forgot what that's called, but either way, like the Iron Man match, you have to get as many pinfalls or the submissions. And then Brock Lesnar did not tap out to the ankle lock and won the title again.
Yes,
that was a fun match. So they've had so many storied matches, and that's why, I wish, even though I know Kurt took a way big step back in his second run with WWE, when he came back, he was not the same guy. But those little bit of hints of Brock and Kurt, I thought that would have been really cool to see again. But that's how it ended. But when I think of Brock Lesnar, I think of Kurt Angle. When I think of Kurt Angle, I think of Brock Lesnar. So Great name. The second guy is so freaking obvious. One was a monster in WWE in his first run. One was a monster into WCW. Eventually, those monsters were on the same roster. And then eventually, we finally got the payoff, which was horrible, which was WrestleMania 20. But still, that story, they were still connected by the hip, because eventually they met up again. Goldberg came out of retirement finally. Had one of the most crazy moments in wrestling history, was Brock beating after Brock, that monster run. Brock destroyed John Cena. Brock then allowed Goldberg to destroy him, and then in what was like a 2-minute match at Survivor Series, was it SummerSlam?
1 minute 26 seconds Survivor Series 2016.
That was one of the most legitimately shocking moments, and it was a good. And then you had the Royal Rumble. Brock and Goldberg staring each other off. Here we go again. Brock's again. Nope. Brock gets thrown out of the ring by Goldberg, and then finally get the payoff at WrestleMania. Better than WrestleMania 20. You can't say Brock Lesnar without saying Goldberg. I think Goldberg's always going to be that guy, like the next guy we're going to probably talk about, maybe. But Goldberg's one of those where you say Brock Lesnar, if you mention the name Goldberg, Brock might go like, oh crap, like turn around, So yeah, do you have Goldberg on your list?
Of course, he was on my list. Yes, he's on my list. And all those highlights you brought up, of course, I watched today. And people were hyped for this, but it didn't really pay off at all, actually. But yeah, you can't think of these two dominant superstars without talking about each other. But the next guy on my list is a much better opponent, much more current opponent. They're actually wrestling this weekend. You can't say the name Brock Lesnar without bringing up Roman Reigns. They shared advocates in Paul Heyman. They've wrestled so many WrestleManias. It's been exhausting watching them. They were part of the greatest cash in of all time when Seth Rollins cashed in WrestleMania 31. So that was a no contest. They've wrestled at SummerSlams. They've wrestled again 3 WrestleMania main events. They wrestled a SummerSlam main event, Crown Jewel main event. Just Roman is 4-2 against Brock. He's won the last 4 matchups. So Brock started out strong early. Roman's cleaned it up a little bit.
What was that?
There's a freaking little fly. There's a fly
That's
right
hilarious,
here,
bro.
and it's pissing me off, dude.
Smack the hell out of your microphone.
I'm so over this fly. Like, I want to smack this shit out of it. I just want to, like, Big Show, like, just because it's a little fly. One little hit will destroy this thing. Like,
hilarious, man.
So I can't wait to get it.
Smack the hell out of your mouth. I was like, what did you do? What did the microphone do to you, bro?
So Roman Reigns is definitely in the Sinister Six. I'm sure he's got to be in yours. I think this has to be the last matchup between the two this weekend. You would think. Remember what I told you too, and I don't think it meant them, but when we saw that WrestleMania promo with Cody, Brock, CM Punk, and Roman, and I told you when we were wondering why, some people got left off or whatever, I think they're doing the women's version of that now. I saw like a BTS image, a backstage image, was I said, I would not be surprised if they are teasing their main events, if that is somehow, their tease, Cody, CM Punk, whatever. So, but anyway, everything you said, multiple WrestleManias, multiple PLE main events, again, this phrase is going to get used a lot with Brock, but Brock's been around for so long, on 2 different runs here, in maybe 3 different runs, however you want to call it, that he's touched a lot of guys in regards to their career, where, he's going to have a story career, but none other than Roman Reigns. I mean, multiple main events at WrestleMania is a big freaking deal. There's only so many guys. Rock and Steve Austin had 3 WrestleManias, not main events. They had 2 WrestleMania main events and then a match at WrestleMania, which was Austin's final one. Roman and Brock have had multiple WrestleManias together. You said 3. Then multiple PLE main events. And now you're saying War Games. And you go, oh, this has to be the last one. I say not so fast. As long as these 2 live and breathe in the same stratosphere, it's always easy money to say, oh, what's Roman doing this next PLE? Nothing? Brock. Because, and as much as we may go, again, we're going to go tune in. So I'm with you 100%. And Brock, Roman never had, even though he defeated the Undertaker at a WrestleMania, they said it was like kind of like a passing of the torch. I did not see it as that, because you didn't have the Undertaker at his best. He was defeated. He couldn't get up. You could tell he was really, even though you want to say it's acting, he wasn't. You could tell he was burned out. And even Undertaker said, I hated that I did that to Roman. I hated that I was like that. And that's probably what got Undertaker to start thinking about retiring. Roman beating Brock finally was the true passing of the torch. Brock, laying down for Roman was the true passing of the torch moment. So these 2 are always going to be connected. And I think as long as these 2 are in the same breath, in the same ring, whatever, I think there's always a chance they're going to clash. And again, that's always, to me, as much as the IWC or whomever want to pretend that I don't want to watch this anymore, everyone's going to want to watch this. So I'm with it. And I'll tell you what, so far we're 3 for 3. Mine was 1, 2, and 3. Even though I don't have them ranked, it is what it is. 1, 2, 3 is Kurt Angle, Goldberg, and Roman Reigns. The next is John Cena. Again, another guy where these 2, they started in OVW together. They didn't really have too much of a crazy run when Brock was first around. They had, I think, 1 or 2 matches, maybe. Nothing crazy. It wasn't until 2012 where Lesnar came back and John Cena getting the F5 which really kind of was the catapult to Lesnar's second run that made him a monster. That was huge. And then, of course, the story matches that they had after SummerSlam
Just the back and forth, getting the win back. And then, of course, every time Lesnar showed up, if Roman versus Cena loses, Cena gets up, Roman's celebrating. Here comes Brock Lesnar. Roman runs. Who does Brock come after? He goes after Cena. Couple of suplexes, F5, runs out of the ring. There's no match there anymore. It's over. Then you had the Cena's final run. Brock Lesnar comes back. Lesnar versus Cena. So Lesnar and Cena, not as storied. It is storied. You can't say one without the other, but not as storied as Roman, but still a story, whatever. What's it with itself? I'm rolling with John Cena. Are you still with me?
Yeah, John Cena's on my list. I look at John Cena as the... So, you know how Tom Brady always had problems with Miami at least once a year?
Yeah.
John Cena can't figure out Brock Lesnar, and that's okay. I like that. I'm looking back at the WrestlePalooza thing going, is it terrible? Looking at the history, I'm like, no, Brock's always dominated John Cena. That's the way it should be. So, yeah, John should have some hurdles or some kryptonites, and that's Brock Lesnar. I like how they showed Brock dominant against... If at the end of the day, yes, did Brock need to beat John at WrestlePalooza? Probably not. But it shows how dominant he is over that character in this story that we're telling. You know, everything's just, these aren't real people. These aren't real matches. This is a story being told within a fictional universe that we love to watch. And in this story, the greatest of all time has a kryptonite. Tom Brady had a kryptonite. Sometimes it was Miami because Ryan Tannehill had, I think, one of the greatest winning percentages against Tom Brady. If that's factual correct. So there is even the GOATs have kryptonites. So I like this. That's why he's on my list as well.
Appreciate the Ryan Tannehill plug. Ryan Tannehill all the way, brother. All right, who's your next guy, man?
Taker. It's easy. It's Taker.
Easy enough.
Taker, man. He wins his first championship against Taker, I believe, 2002 Hell in a Cell. Is that true? Is that true? Did I say that right? He ends Taker's streak at WrestleMania. Of course, we already know that. They have the match at Taker where they laugh at each other, and that was kind of ridiculous. This
that was a moment, man. That was cool.
you think it was cool? I think
I enjoyed it, dude. It was like Undertaker not breaking character, but kind of like going, I'm done with you. This is real. This is a fight. That was cool. I liked it. It is what it is. It is what it is.
But again, you can't say Undertaker. And honestly, that moment there was the beginning of instead of boo, it was more of a go back and watch that moment, people. It was more of a it was a moment for the crowd, and that's the first time Brock Lesnar got the fuck this, man. Sorry, Bobby, but that's what it was from the fans. Go back and watch. It wasn't like some were, but most were like, what? Really? This? So that's the beginning of Brock Lesnar's demise. But sure, great match, great times.
So yeah, I have the Undertaker as well. I mean, we're 5 for 5 right now.
Yeah, we're 5 for 5.
12 years of story here. I mean, the 1 year, Brock, the next big thing, his run with the, Big Red, the Undertaker, the American Badass. You think about the Hell in the Cell matches, the cast, Undertaker's cast on his arm when Brock broke it. And I remember that, when SmackDown was the go-to show. That was my favorite. I really loved the Ruthless Aggression era. I look at it very fondly. Raw was really cool, but I really enjoyed SmackDown. You had Undertaker, Hogan, Rock, Brock, Rey Mysterio, Edge, Chuck Palumbo, right? Chuck Palumbo and Billy Gunn, that was such a cool run. But I remember that with Kurt Angle too. Eddie, what a freaking brand. But those matches to help elevate Brock Lesnar as a legit force. And then, Brock goes away. They have the moment at UFC, where Brock finishes the match and Undertaker's talking to the commentator, and all of a sudden Undertaker stops and goes, "You want to go? Like, what's up?" They walk off, and people, whoa, what does that mean? What does that mean? Everybody was still intrigued by Undertaker versus Lesnar, even though Lesnar was he was in UFC. Taker comes back, Brock comes back, has a big run, has some matches with John Cena, Triple H, here and there, and then finally, here comes the Undertaker. Brock beats him at WrestleMania. Was it 30? Was it 30? Ended the streak 30. At WrestleMania 30. one of the most shocking moments ever. Not shocking because it's Brock, was shocking because it's Undertaker losing the streak. And then, Undertaker goes away. He had a scary moment, concussion, out, grows his hair back, comes back, turns the lights off, kicks Lesnar in the balls. After it was like, whoa, that was. They had an epic brawl on TV. I don't really like brawls because people start. It's like, it's wrestling, dude. Let's let them fight. But then here comes, call out everybody, call out your mamas, call out here, let's go. It's always cringe to me. It's like, come on, dude, it's so unreal. They're punching cops. It's like, please, you're gonna get tased. I wish one day wrestlers got tased. I wish they would do that. Pepper spray, tase. Like Scott Hall style, Goldberg, punching cops. They're like, did you see the body cam footage? Oh, well, let's go back and look at the body cam footage of these wrestlers punching the cops. Let's be real. Like, if I'm a promoter, I'm going to shock the hell out of you, legitimately. Oh, this wrestler punched a cop? Watch cops beat him up with the sticks. Oh, my God. Legit. So I'm not a big fan of these brawls because there's always some sort of interference. Let them fight. But that was a great brawl between The Undertaker and Brock back in the day. I think it was Raw. And then, Brock saying, I'm going to kill you. And Undertaker, you're going to have to. It's this epic thing. And then, of course, the finale, like you said, the little giggles at the end or whatever. But again, as long as Undertaker was in WWE, you knew eventually you were going to run into each other again. Like, again, before Undertaker retired, and it was Goldberg, Lesnar, I think that's how it went. Undertaker showed up or whatever. So they're always going to be intertwined. So absolutely The Undertaker.
Do you want to see Superman get beat down by batons and pepper sprayed?
Hell yeah. Yes.
These are our heroes. These are our superheroes.
No, I get it. But the same
What are we doing? You want your superhero to be tased.
Listen, first off, Justin, what's up, my brother? Maria, great to see you. Look, again, it's a pet peeve of mine, brother. If guys are going to, they're fighting each other and here comes the police. Oh, call the cops. They're here. Here comes uniformed police officers. They're running down the ramp. They're trying to separate these guys. And then all of a sudden they start punching the cops. Josh, what happens if you go on the street right now and punch a cop in the face? What's going to happen to you? What's going to happen?
I know what's going to happen, but listen.
Okay. So, but no, it's not like they got, we're in WWE. We're going to have to get punched. No. Tase them.
Here's the spot I would do.
Just said Batman. I agree. Batman. Yeah.
Here's a spot. You take a Brock Lesnar or whoever, have the policeman hit him with the baton, have Brock Lesnar do the silly laugh, take the baton, break it in half in front of him, and take him to Suplex City, brother. He's Brock Lesnar. He's not going to get detained by any policeman. What are we doing, Bobby?
But think about that moment. Wait a second. Here, that's even better. Think about this. How to make Brock look even better, more scary. They get the tase gun. It's not legitimate, right? It's a prop gun, but still. And you shoot Brock with the taser, and you see the little sparks, and Brock just stands there, goes like that. Yeah. And you go, oh shit! And you go running, right? And he catches you, F5. Then okay, it's believable. They tase him, but not cops getting. Oh my god! Oh! Nothing happens. They come out next week on Raw. There's no charges. Bull crap. Make some realism. Fight them. That's what I would do. I hate it. I can't stand it when they fight the cops because it's not realistic. Come on. I know it's wrestling. I know. All right. So just to recap, for those who are just joining us, appreciate you guys joining in. Throw in your thoughts. Who's Brock Lesnar's Sinister Six? So far, we're 5 for 5. Kurt Angle, Goldberg, Roman Reigns, John Cena, and The Undertaker. So number 6. Before we get into number 6, I want to ask you, who is the honorable mentions? In your opinion, give me 2 honorable mentions. You don't have to, I'll give you 2. If yours is the same as mine, I'll try to do 2 others. But give me an honorable mention.
I can give you a 1 because I don't want to give mine away, my 6th person, but he might be your honorable mention. He might be your honorable mention.
Do you want to go number 6?
I do.
Okay.
I do.
Boring. Okay, no, it's okay.
I'm boring. I like Missionary, but I do like Eddie Guerrero. I like Eddie Guerrero as well. I like Eddie Guerrero as my Sinister Six. I thought about.
Whoa.
I do.
Damn. Okay.
And there's reasons why. To have Brock Lesnar put someone over at that spot in his career, it has to be a big deal. The only match I watched fully of Brock Lesnar this week was this match, and I brought back memories because I remember I was a big Eddie Guerrero mark. And this was a very short but intense battle feud. He won a 15-man battle royal, eliminating Kurt Angle to become number one contender at No Way Out against Brock Lesnar, and just what we would think today is a throwaway pay-per-view. No Way Out. No one's going to win a major match then. But they have the match, and it was heated. He called him a cheater, a liar. Called him a drug addict, a quitter. Really getting personal with Eddie Guerrero, and that match told the story, everything you needed to know about Brock Lesnar and Eddie Guerrero. Okay, thank you, son. He changed dinner to 8:00. It was 9:00 on our schedule. Now it's 8. But but the whole point of this whole match was Eddie Guerrero defeating his demons and becoming the world heavyweight champion, and he did. And this sparked Eddie. And that showed me right there, like, oh shoot, Brock does care about the business, and he put someone over that deserves it. And I think we talk about this all the time. We talk about Eddie and Brock more than we would talk about Triple H and Brock, which I've seen on people's lists when we've talked about. There's many Big Show and Brock. Yeah, they had the big ring thing, but what do we say the most? What was Brock's best match? What was his best feud? Eddie comes up more times than not because of that match. More than, the Big Show stuff. Yeah, we know the Big Show stuff. Yeah, we know the Triple H stuff. But what was more impactful? What do we think about more fondly? We don't think about anything else more fondly than this whole match and this whole circumstance, because Eddie Guerrero won that match unexpectedly and really boosted him to the main event status. And Brock Lesnar did that. That was awesome. That's why he's in my top 6.
So, first off, I love Eddie Guerrero. Big fan of Eddie Guerrero. Love his stuff. I could watch his matches for hours. I watched him since I was a kid. When I was watching WCW, I remember, his battles with Rey Mysterio at Halloween Havoc, and Juventud Guerrero, Chavo Guerrero, LWO, and then when he went to WWE, Latino Heat with China, and and then his growth. And when he passed away, it was one of the most heartbreaking moments I ever watched in wrestling. And it hit home. You think of the Steve Oren, the Crocodile Hunter, Robin Williams. When their deaths happened, for me, it was like a family member died. When Eddie died, that was like a family member dying. It was like, wait a second, wait, who? What? How? What? That can't be real. That's not real. And so one of the greatest moments in wrestling history. Again, remember, shock, because nobody thought Eddie was going to beat Brock Lesnar. They thought that we're going to go to WrestleMania and Brock would lose it to, drop it to the Goldberg, and then Goldberg would drop it the next, or something was going to happen. Mm-hmm. No, he dropped it to Eddie Guerrero in one of the most awesome, most shocking moments in WWE, and became one of the most legendary title runs. He had great matches with Kurt Angle at WrestleMania 20. He had a great match with Kurt Angle, a great story with Kurt Angle. He had a great matches with JBL, which set JBL off on a trajectory of one of the greatest heels in professional wrestling, the wrestling god. You think about Judgment Day with the blood and whatever. No doubt. I get where you're coming from. My problem with it was just one match. Yep. It was one match. And I understand the impact of it. You brought up the Big Show. I have him as an honorable mention. Big Show is one of my honorable mentions. I thought that story was a lot of fun. That whole, it was when Paul Heyman first turned on the Big Show. Turned on Lesnar, and then the Big Show had, wearing the jeans, destroying Brock, and vice versa. And then, of course, when Brock came back, you had those little bit of teases with Big Show and Brock. They finally had a match again, and Brock destroyed him, but Big Show was manhandling Brock. So I think Big Show being included as a Sinister Six, in any way, Sinister Six I understand that option. He is, again, an honorable mention. I would say Seth Rollins is another one. Again, he cashed in at WrestleMania 31 in the Triple Threat. Multiple battles for the Universal title. It's just, the story was great. So was the greatest heel ever, and what alternate user was trash? Greatest heel ever. I said one of the greatest heels ever, and he was. Go back and watch. He was one of the greatest heels ever. Go back and watch. And I could go a whole episode and tell you why. So, Samoa Joe. That's another one I would say is an honorable mention for the Sinisters. Nobody made Brock look weak or more believable to get beat than Samoa Joe. I mean, I wish that story would have continued. I wish they would have had more time. And I wish that Samoa would actually beat him. Joe would have beat him. I think they only fought at Great Balls of Fire, but that whole build up to that match was in there. My pick though is Triple H. Was Triple H. I will say that again. You know, WrestleMania 29, the back and forth, breaking Shawn Michaels' arm. I think they had 2 matches. You know, you had the Hell in Cell, I believe it was, and it was, you know, when he did the pedigree on the, you know, it was just crazy, just violent. It was a violent story. So just to wrap up, I would say for me, it was Triple H, and I'm glad that those two finally got it because they didn't really have a match in the first run. They had a triple threat with The Rock, Brock, and Triple H, but it wasn't really, you know, you had I think it was like an overseas PLE or pay-per-view, but their run at the end when Brock came back was really good. So I think, and that puts Triple H, in my opinion, in that Sinister Six. B McD, JBL was prime TV in the early 2000s. He was the end of, he was SmackDown's Triple H. You know, the only reason why the world champion on SmackDown is because Triple H didn't want to do Tuesdays. You know, that was great. But JBL, think about JBL and Eddie Guerrero, you know, in Mexico, gave his mom a heart attack. You know, the hate, whatever. Him telling them going at the border and telling Mexicans to turn around and all this other stuff, you know, and how much hate he had, and him and the Undertaker, him and Batista, him and, you know, there's so much. Come on, JBL was an amazing heel. The only reason why JBL was champion on SmackDown was because Triple H wanted to. Yeah, I just said that. You just typed what I was saying. That was the joke by Paul Heyman. But the fact is, JBL was one of the best heels in Ruthless Aggression. Go back and do your homework, Maria. Go back and watch AEW. I think AEW has clogged your mind what a legit heel is.
Wow. Don't
I'm a heel, brother. Maria. I'm a heel, brother. I know what a heel is. Okay? I'm Robert Michaels, 14-time EWF champion. All right? I know what a heel is, and JBL was one of the best of all time.
He's pretty good.
All right.
Pretty good.
Damn, Bobby. I'm a heel, brother. I love Maria, man. Dude, she knows it. I mean, I'm coming at her. It was a joke. Paul Heyman was shooting. He was shooting, but it wasn't. It was. But JBL was a great heel.
But guess what? Guess who was willing to work Tuesdays? That's why
right.
He earned it.
That's right. Damn right. Damn right, Josh. Yeah, that's right. Paul Heyman. And let's just be real here. Paul Heyman was the head writer of SmackDown when JBL was the champion. So think about that for a minute. All right. Now, man, you want to go? Do you want to talk about JBL's heel run? I'll go all day. Like, you can't go at me with JBL. Dude was fun, man. I know. I need some later. All right. Oh, man. Okay. Let us do this. So, Josh had a great idea. Since we have war games coming up, he said, Bobby, why don't we create our own war games, our teams, and we'll discuss it on the show. And I said, that's amazing. And he gave some stipulations, and we're going to touch on that. But what I said at the end, there was why don't we, I'm going to throw our teams into a simulation, and we'll see who wins. I have not looked. I did put all of them in there. I threw them all in there.
Oh, you didn't see who won?
No, I haven't looked. No.
Okay.
No. I'm gonna read it as we go, and we'll go from there. So, before we throw the teams, do you want to say what your stipulations were to me about how we should build these teams?
Yeah. So, knowing that he just picked 5 guys and 5 gals, and it's gonna be superstar, I wanted to avoid duplication. I wanted to get it more fun, get more interesting people in there. So I decided you have to have a legit tag team in your match. So 5 total people. So 1 legit tag team has 2 people taken up. You could pick 1 superstar main eventer, like a Cody Rhodes, CM Punk, so forth. The other one was an NXT superstar, like an up-and-comer, someone that you wanted to see on the main roster, someone who you think is main roster ready or possibly deserves to be in this match. And then the last one was more of like a job guy or gal, like mid-carder. Not like, Kurt Hawkins loses every week or Tozawa. More of like think of a mid-card guy who just doesn't win titles. He's just lost in the mid card that you think is a great addition. So that I think was the hardest part. I think picking that job guy or job gal, the mid card person, was the hardest part for me. But I got into a theme, so it wasn't that hard. You'll see the theme of my team once it does get revealed. How hard was it for you to fill out this team?
Hard. I really did enjoy the stipulation because you're right. We could have just thrown a bunch of guys together if you would have just said, pick your 5 best, I'll pick my 5. But I think because you were like, hey, pick a tag team, pick a mid-carder or a jobber, as you were, but a mid-carder, superstar, and then at first it was cruiserweight, then it was a jobber. And what was it? And then an up-and-comer. So I was like, easy enough. Not easy enough, but cool. Now this is going to make it interesting because now I have to go looking, and then I start going, well, do I really want this guy? So it became hard. Mid card War Games team, not mid card War Games team. One superstar, a tag team, a mid carder, and then an up and comer, which would be probably an NXT guy or whatever. So this was a lot of fun, and I will say, because I did obviously you're going to see. Well, I think you saw my team before the show, but you didn't get to see my team till right before the show. Okay. I saw your team before because you had that way I could create the graphics. I will say when I saw the men's team, I was like, that's great because I did not think of any of these guys. So I was like, I was afraid that you were gonna pick guys. I'm like, oh, I will say when I saw your women's team, I was at work. I kicked my desk. I was like, damn it. I was pissed because I knew you knew that what you were doing. And I was like, damn, I know damn well.
Nothing.
Bull crap. You knew damn well what you were doing. I was like, damn, man. But I'll tell you the 2 that were on there when we get there that I was like, oh, because as soon as I saw, I was like, that's my team. And then, nope, they're gone. So I was like, okay. Is Dom? No, I wouldn't say that. Is Dom still considered up and coming? I thought about it. I legit thought about putting Dom on my team. But then I was like, is he considered up and coming? But then I started thinking about philosophy. And I'll get to that point when we get there. So, here you go. Maria says, Obafemi, Cody Rhodes, Julius Creed, Javon Evans, and LA Knight. That would be her team. Is Javon Evans and Julius Creed on a tag team? I don't think the Creed brothers you probably want to put on there.
You need tag teams, Maria.
One tag team, Maria. But there you go. But that so far, right? Obafemi, Cody Rhodes, LA Knight, and then maybe the Creed brothers. I think that would be a good one. But anyway, here's our teams. Ready? Here we go. Whoa. Bam. Right there.
Yours just looks tougher.
Well, again, so when I saw your team, I was already ready. I already had my 2 guys on there. I was contemplating between who was going to be the lead dog, and I was like, you know what? It's Brock. So and then when I had my 3 guys, I was like, I know where I'm going here. I want to go power. He's going finesse. I'm going power. And so that's when I went with Obafemi. That's my up-and-comer. NXT champion, monster, the next big thing, no pun intended. And then I go, man, mid-carder. And I was thinking, and again, not mid-carder, but, but I'm like, damn, who do I go with this? And I started thinking, I started going a little, I was going back and forth. But I'm like, wait a second. What am I doing? Omos. Now, of course, he's rented off to triple A. He's beating up little dudes and everything, which is pretty funny. But he's a legit giant. So I was like, and I'm like, I have to. This is my lineup. This is it. I was like so excited. I'm like, this is just power. And if I think about War Games, if I'm thinking about in a cage, not you said it's a Hell in a Cell, but I meant what you meant was how this whatever from what do you call it, desensitized to the Hell in a Cell that we are. I think that's what you meant. But War Games is close. There's no give. It's tight. You have 2 rings. You get to bring weapons in. There's not a lot of flying moves unless you get enough to the cage. You get up to the cage, you can do a thing. No, you're stuck in a very tight space. So imagine being in a cage with a gorilla named Brock Lesnar, or Bronson Reed, or Braun Breaker, or Obafemi, or Omos. There's no chance in hell, to quote Vince McMahon. So I was like, this is the team. So I'm not going to lie to you. I absolutely, legitimately love my team. And I was very excited when I had it, and I saw your team come through, and I'm like, this is cool. This is really cool. So, what was your mindset creating your team?
So a lot of it had to go with who's Bobby going to take, and honestly, because like I know, like there's some people when you give them an inch, they take a mile. When they're not looking, they might takes. He's a heel, guys. Of course, I knew Bronson Reed and Braun Breaker. I eliminated them from my list because, in my eyes, those are two main event guys, not tag teams. But of course, he's going to do that. It is what it is.
Okay.
It's okay. No, but in all seriousness, I go CM Punk. I kind of want CM Punk leading my guy. I think he's the best leader of men on the roster. If he's he's the most relatable. And then I'm going, oh wait, hold on. I'm making an AEW. I'm making this all AEW, brother. So give me the Lucha Bros, give me Ricky Saints. And I'm like, who's the job guy? Because let's be honest, all the AEW guys that are coming over, they're all champions. They're all draped in gold. There's no homegrown talent in WWE. They poached the other company of the real talent. That's why that company's failing right now.
Well,
So
CM
I said,
Punk and Cody started here in WWE first before they went to AEW.
CM Punk was an ROH, which is technically owned by AEW, which is technically owned by AEW right now. So ROH is a AEW product, which is where CM Punk started. So therefore, CM Punk is an AEW homegrown talent because it's ROH. So you're welcome.
You're welcome, WWE.
Anyway, that being said, I'm like Ricky Saints. I think it'd be fun to see him in this match. That was it. I was just having fun. Let's have all my AEW guys rejects in this match together because they're all superstars. And that was basically it. There was no other thought process. You were able to look at the playbook. You were the Tom Brady. You got to see the plays before the Super Bowl, and you're able to counter my guys. It's not fair.
But first of all, full of crap. Wait a second. I told you. I already had Bronson Reed and Braun Breaker, and then I said I'm going to go with Lesnar, and then your team showed up, and then I added it in Bufemi and Omos. Okay, let's just be real. Okay, let's just be real. All right. But I went.
Let's see what the Chat GPT has to say. The world, the CM Punk.
So I'm going to pull it full screen on mine here, so I don't see you guys. Can you still see me good? Everybody sees me good.
I see you. You're good.
All right. We're going to fix this just a little bit. All right. Survivor Series War Games match simulation. Team Lesnar, Brock Lesnar, Obafemi, Omos, Bronson Reed, Braun Breaker, taking on CM Punk, Ricky Saints, Ray Phoenix, Penta, and Aleister Black. Josh versus Bobby. War Games begins. The starting two. Braun Breaker starts for Team Lesnar. Ricky Saints starts for Team Punk. Breaker immediately uses his power, ragdolling Saints, they say Starks, Saints, and throwing him into the cage repeatedly. Saints uses speed and evasion to stay alive until time expires. Bronson Reed is entry number 3. Now Breaker and Reed work together using double teams, crushing Starks under a double body splash. Oh my gosh. Saints is bleeding early. Team Lesnar in full control. My gosh. Entry number 4, Penta hits the ring. Penta enters the ring blazing. Chops, kicks, sling blade, thrust kicks. He takes out Reed's knee and hits Breaker with a fearsome destroyer. Suddenly, the ring is even as the crowd erupts with Zero Miedo.
Yeah. We're back, baby. See? We're back. Finesse. The crowd's behind us. Yeah, baby.
Entry number 5. Out comes Omos. The tide turns instantly. Omos dominates both smaller men, throwing Saints from one ring to another and choking Penta against the cage. Team Lesnar is now overwhelming the opposition with size and power. My plan exactly. Here comes Ray Phoenix. Phoenix comes in like a missile, springboards off the ropes, running drop kicks, hitting Breaker with a spinning heel kick, and Omos with a springboard drop kick. He and Penta team up for stereo thrust kicks and double super kicks to Reed, briefly evening the odds. Entry number 7, Obafemi. The champion arrives like a wrecking ball. Power bombs Penta into the cage, spines busters Phoenix out of midair, and levels out Saints with a lariat from hell. Team Lesnar has 4 monsters in the ring now. Pure devastation. I love it. I love it. Here comes Aleister Black. Lights go low as Black steps into War Games and changes the tone instantly. Striking position and knees and kicks. He takes down Breaker and Reed in seconds. Black and Femi square off in a stare down as the crowd roars. Black hits a devastating black mass, but Femi stays standing. Black hits a second, and Femi finally drops to one knee. Out comes the Beast. Now the Beast is loose. Brock Lesnar starts with suplexes for everyone. Rey Fenix, Ricky Saints, Penta, Aleister Black, everyone experienced Suplex City. Team Punk is in serious trouble. And out comes the world champion, entry number 10. CM Punk finally enters to the biggest pop of the night. Punk comes in with a chair wrapped in barbed wire and swings for everyone. Lesnar walks through the first shot, but Punk cracks him again and again until Lesnar is bleeding across the forehead. The place goes wild. The match begins for real. All men now legal. Chaos everywhere. Punk, key moments. Punk locks Lesnar in Anaconda Vice. And for a moment, it looks like the Beast might actually fade, but Omafemi breaks it up with a massive running body splash. Phoenix climbs to the top of the cage and hits a Phoenix 630 senton off Reed and Breaker below. Penta spears Omos through a table set in the corner. Damn. Aleister Black hits Black Mass and Obafemi and Omos in a row, dropping 2 monsters in 12 seconds. The Team Punk suddenly has momentum. The big turning point. Dum, dum, dum. Lesnar recovers and catches Punk trying another chair shot. He scoops him up and F5s Punk from one ring into another through a table. Damn. The crowd explodes and Punk is in trouble. Then Omos boots Penta unconscious. Reed slams Breaker's spear sets it up into an avalanche slam. Femi power bombs Rey Fenix into the cage and leaves him limp on the mat. Team Punk is getting dismantled now, as it should. The finish. Aleister Black stands alone against Lesnar, Breaker, Reed, Omos, and Femi. Black refuses to quit and gets a heroic final run. Black Master Reed, knee strike to Breaker. Black Master Omos doesn't drop him though, but Omafemi blindsides him with a running tackle. Lesnar scoops him up, F5 onto a pile of broken tables. Lesnar hooks the leg. 1, 2, 3, and the winner is Team Brock Lesnar. There you go, folks. Team Lesnar standing tall. Punk is shown getting medical assistance in the ring while Lesnar is staring back, seething. Clearly, this feud is not over. It is for now. All right. So,
wow.
There you go, brother. What did you think of that match?
Aleister Black was the MVP of my team. That's what I gotta say. He's Black Mass and everybody. Everybody gets the Black Mass. No, but I expected your team to win. Your team is bigger, stronger, faster, probably. Brock Lesnar. So I expected that. I expected Ricky Saints to take the pin, though. I'm surprised that it was Mr. Aleister Black. I'm definitely surprised. What do you think about that?
Adrian says that was awesome.
Yeah.
Justice says, wow. So there you go. I'm glad that my narrator skills worked out pretty well. I actually really enjoyed it. I did not see it. What I did was I did it. Then I skipped to the bottom and threw the women's match on the bottom, and then I closed it out because I have it here at home. So this was my first time reading it. So that was a lot of fun because I'm like, don't tell me Aleister Black's going to defeat all those guys.
That would have been awesome. Black Mass.
1, 2, 3. Like, wait, what? No.
I was waiting for it. I was waiting for it.
I want that AEW booking, man. Get me some good Vince McMahon booking, brother. That props to the simulator. Match. Great match. Yes. All right. So same stipulation, same rules for the women's match. All right. Here's our teams. Bam. So I have Rhea Ripley, Charlotte Flair, and Alexa Bliss as my tag team. Rhea is obviously my superstar. Jordan Grace is my up-and-comer. And mid-card jobber is Natalia. For Justin, your team is?
Josh. My team
Josh,
is
sorry.
Miss Jade Cargill. I got Roxanne and Raquel. I have Miss Blake Monroe and Julia. Who did you want? Did you want Raquel and Roxanne? No, you wanted Charlotte. So who did you want? You probably wanted Blake Monroe. And Jade?
Cargill. Yep. Mm-hmm.
You wanted Jade?
Those were the two. I had them on my paper, and then when yours came through, I went, son of a, and I tossed it. But I'm happy with my team. I'm confident in my team, brother.
Your team's great.
Yeah, I like my team, man.
Natalia, come on, bro.
Oh, don't be rude. Don't be
Natalia.
She's a legend,
Natalia,
bro.
you couldn't think of anyone else?
That she fits the thing, mid Carter, you know, and you know, I wish I would, hopefully it's a Natalia, the Natty Neidhart, the one that's in the what do you call what she does, the street fights that she does. Hopefully it's that one that I'm
I
getting.
thought you were gonna pick Chelsea. I thought Chelsea was.
I was gonna pick Chelsea. I thought about it, but I was like, is she up and comer? Is she really a mid Carter? You know what I mean? I mean, she's, you know, I almost went Chelsea, but I was like, no, I'm gonna stick to Josh's rules, his rigged rules. And I'm going to go with Natty Neidhart. I didn't know you were going Julia, but it is what it is. I'm fine with it.
Were you surprised I took Jade?
Yes, I was. I was very surprised. I wasn't surprised about Blake Monroe because I know how you feel about her. But yeah, I was surprised you picked Jade. Why'd you pick Jade?
Because I went babyface men's and I went full heel.
Oh,
I couldn't think of a better heel, I guess, because if Liv Morgan was here, Liv would be on my team as the lead. She'd be my superstar, but she's not here, so I took current roster members, if that makes sense. Liv would have been my lead back.
And Natalia is awesome. You got to think about it. First off, Natalia's a veteran. It's not like she's some rando. No, she has she has the pedigree, the chemistry. She could go with any one of these girls. She has it all, brother. So
Bobby,
what?
I appreciate you putting her on this match because it's guaranteed she's taking Jaded 1, 2, 3. She's your Aleister Black. It's fine. It's cool.
Well, I guess we're going to find out, brother. Let's do this. Let me go ahead and try to pull it up here. All right. Team Ripley, which is Team Bobby. It's Rhea Ripley, Natalia, Jordynne Grace, Charlotte Flair, Alexa Bliss. Team Cargill, Jade Cargill, Julia, Blake Monroe, Roxanne Perez, Raquel Rodriguez. The match starts off with Roxanne Perez versus Alexa Bliss. Roxanne uses her speed and chain wrestling to control early, rolling Bliss up multiple times and frustrating her. Bliss eventually catches Perez with a basement drop kick, then begins using aggression and taunting to shift momentum. Time expires. Out comes Jordynne Grace for Team Ripley. This changes everything. Grace bulldogs Roxanne, wiping her out with lariats, I'm going to butcher it, Mishkinuko driver, and then presses Perez into the cage wall. Bliss laughs and gets cocky while Grace continues mauling the smaller star. Team Ripley is full control. Ooh, I sense a kind of continuation here. Team Cargill.
It's like you get the advantage in both matches.
Looks like it, brother. Well, you probably put a better team would have won it. No. Anyway, Julia enters now. Julia comes in with a kendo stick. And see, this is smart from Julia. This is War Games. Why coming in with no weapons? Go with some weapons. Julia is smart enough, comes in with a kendo stick and a scary calmness. Dum dum dum. She immediately cracks Grace across the back, takes down Bliss with a tornado DDT, and then trades stiff forearms with Grace. The pace becomes an all-out fight. Roxanne recovers and starts landing big kicks, and suddenly Team Cargill has evened the match. Here comes Natalia. Let's see what Natalia does after all that trash Josh talk. Natalie focuses on technical wrestling, sharpshooter teases, double suplexes, chain grappling. She stabilizes the ring for Team Ripley. Bliss, Natty lock in dual submissions on Roxanne and Julia, while Grace stands guard, flashing her muscles confidently. I love the cockiness coming from Team Bobby, the way it should be. Out comes Raquel Rodriguez. The power is coming to the ring. Raquel clears the ring, big boots, slams, a double fallaway slam to Bliss and Natalia at the same time. Grace tries to brawl with her, but we get a powerhouse stare down that the crowd loves. Raquel wins the exchange with a one-arm slam into the turnbuckle. The Team Cargill has momentum. Team Ripley, entry number 7. Out comes the GOAT, the Queen, Charlotte Flair, comes in on fire. Big boots to Julia. Big boot to Roxanne, a net breaker to Raquel, then climbs to the top rope for a super moonsault onto a pile of bodies. The entire arena pops. Flair locks Roxanne into the figure 8 until Julia makes the save. Out comes Blake Monroe for Team Cargill. Monroe brings a chair, very smart. Immediately starts leveling everybody in purple. I guess they're wearing purple. Chair shots to Charlotte, Grace, and Bliss. Blake teams with Julia for a beautiful dual kick strike combo on Natty. Team Cargill now in control of the environment. Final entrant for Team Bobby is Rhea Ripley. The crowd erupts. Ripley charges in, plows through everyone, headbutt to Monroe, shotgun dropkick through the table to Roxanne, pop-up slam to Julia, dropkick to Raquel before she can stand. Ripley has become the equalizer. Jade Cargill enters the ring. Lights, pyro, swagger. Jade walks in like a final boss. She meets Ripley in the middle. Stare down. The arena goes silent. They trade punches like two heavyweights. Monsters, neither moving. Then Jade lifts Rhea and power slams her into a cage wall, sending the match into absolute chaos. The match has officially begun. All 10 are now legal. Here we go. The highlight sequence. Powerhouse goes wild. Grace hits a muscle buster on Raquel. Jade hits Jaded on Grace. Ripley hits Riptide on Jade through a standing table. The crowd loses it. Flair unleashes chops, but Julia hits a dangerous back suplex onto a chair and busts Charlotte wide open. These two look like they hate each other. Alexa Bliss resurrects. She goes under the ring and pulls out a bag of thumbtacks. She spreads them onto the mat and DDTs Roxanne onto them. Gosh dang it. Roxanne screams, bloody, oh my God! Crimson Tide. It's a slobber knocker starting to stain her gear. It's brutal. It's effective. The big turning moment. Ripley locks Jade into the prism lock. Grace and Natty cut off the rest of Team Cargill. It looks like Jade might actually tap. Tap it, Jade. Tap. Until Raquel spears Ripley through the cage panel, breaking the structure and leaving both women wrecked on the outside walkway. The arena erupts. Damn, Raquel. The final sequence, inside the ring, Charlotte hits the natural selection on Monroe. Julia wipes out Charlotte with a running knee. Bliss hits the twisted blitz on Julia. Roxanne fights through the pain and hits pop rocks on Bliss. I don't like the way this is going. Then Jade crawls back inside and hits a second Jaded, this time on a steel. One. It wins. Oh my goodness, Jade.
I don't know who's frozen or
Johnny,
if Bobby's frozen.
Isn't over. Wow.
Did you guys hear the finish? I didn't hear the finish.
Did you not hear the finish?
It was either
Did you
me
not hear
or
the
you,
finish?
but I didn't. Not one thing. Did everyone hear the
Wow.
finish? You
Should I change
or
it right now?
I didn't hear it.
Oh, okay.
Oh, you're gonna change the finish?
Okay.
You were glitching
Yeah, I was
bad.
gonna switch it up. All right. Final sequence. I felt really good. Okay. Charlotte hits the natural selection on Monroe. Julia wipes out Charlotte with a running knee. Bliss hits twisted blitz onto Julia. Roxanne fights through the pain and hits pop rocks on Bliss. Then Jade crawls back into the ring, hits the second Jaded, this time on a steel chair, crushing Alexa Bliss. Jade covers. 1, 2, 3. Team Jade wins. Rhea's mad. She refuses medical treatment. Says, this is not over. Yet it is, Ripley. You failed me, Ripley. I should have kept Charlotte as the team captain, but it is what it is. Team Josh wins the women's.
That's right.
What did you think of that, brother?
You know, I knew I had it in the bag. Jade Cargill, we got the muscle, we got everything. You have Charlotte, just Natalia. Too many anchors on the team Bobby Melendez side, too many winners on the Josh Kimmel side. Just when you have too many anchors, Bobby, like I did on my men's side, Aleister Black was an anchor. Natalia, Jordan Grace, Charlotte, they just didn't come through. Well, good booking. Is this what Tony Khan does?
He goes and throws it in ChatGPT. I'm going to ask, did you guys enjoy this? I actually did. I really did enjoy this. Too many egos. Okay, there you go. I like that. I'll tell you what, I knew when I saw that the sequence before the final sequence, I don't know if you heard me. It was like, I don't like the way this is going. I knew where it was kind of going by what I was reading. So Justin says he really enjoyed it. That's really cool because I know it's hard with, you don't see it, but hopefully I did it good enough where you guys kind of visualized it as we went on. Josh, what did you think of this?
Yeah, it was fun. If I was good at video editing at all, I would have Bobby tell me the results and I would play through it on WWE 2K and make all those happen and create a video for everybody to watch. But I'm so bad at editing. So this is if we're hiring here at the Finstock Sports Network, if you know how to edit videos, no, but I think that'd be a cool concept. I enjoyed this. I think this is not a weekly content idea, but from time to time, I think this could be an idea.
This could be the way to do it. Justice says he really enjoyed it. Adrian says this is awesome. Maria says you wish you can book like AEW. All right, Maria Khan. Tony Khan. By the way, Full Gear is tonight for real wrestling.
Is it?
Oh, like that? All right. Oh man.
Hey Maria, if a tree
DSG,
falls
what's up,
in the
brother?
forest and no one heard it, did it really fall?
Bum bum bum.
No, I'm actually looking forward to seeing the results of Full Gear. Not really looking forward. One of the matches, Bobby, is a ladder match for $1 million. Who cares? I don't care who wins $1 million.
Yeah, that's. I don't know. I didn't know anything about it. I don't know.
That's great booking.
It's that no holds barred booking, brother. Chat GPT, my man, just throw it in there and see what happens. No, I thought that was fun. That was a lot of fun. Sorry about that ending, guys. I think maybe when I was doing the pinfall, I may have hit everything and it froze it up because I was animated. I was really enjoying it.
You were frozen. You froze up. We didn't hear anything. I knew that we won. I know I won the match, but I didn't hear what happened. Who was pinned? No, nobody did.
Oh, okay.
You were going in and out very much. But it's fine.
Was that towards the end?
Yeah.
Okay, so sorry about that. I was on a roll, but at least we have an idea of it. That was fire. I appreciate that, Adrian. And Adrian, let's connect, man, to get on each other's shows because I definitely want to get you on ours. I'd rather win $1 million than worthless speed.
It's not real, but it's not a real. You have the speed title is a real thing you can carry. The $1 million isn't real. It's just a number. It's not. It's just a number up there for the.
We'll do it again for sure. We'll do it again for sure, man. We'll do it again one of these days. Maybe we'll have some fun. We'll figure it out. We'll make another run at it. I think that was a lot of fun.
Man. Like we could do when the time comes, the King of the Ring, or we could, there's many opportunities.
Royal Rumble,
Elimination Chamber,
for real, absolutely. But yeah, man. So guys, I mean that was a fun show. Is next week Survivor Series, or is it the next 2 weeks from now?
Next week's a Survivor Series. I made plans to go to my boy's house to watch it, so we will be doing a pre-show. I'm assuming. I know Adrian invited us.
Yes.
I'm not. I don't know if I'm gonna have time because I'm going to my boy's house to watch the show. So we could do some. We'll figure it out. But yes, I do. We do plan on a pre-show on PLE events, so we'll break that down next week.
All right, we'll figure it out. But anyway, Josh, any final thoughts before we wrap this one up?
Yeah, man, I'm not gonna see y'all until after the holiday. So I hope everyone has a safe Thanksgiving. Everyone has a great time, enjoys their family, enjoys their friends. Don't drink too much of that mead or that Bud Light or whatever you guys drink on Thanksgiving. Drink in moderation. If you're driving, of course, have Uber, Lyft. This is serious. There's too many accidents. I work in insurance. Too many unneeded accidents. Always be safe and don't drive reckless. And have a great weekend, guys.
Same here. Appreciate you guys. More likely may see you guys again before Thanksgiving, but if I don't, happy Thanksgiving. God bless. Look forward to seeing you guys. Josh and I will definitely see you guys next week for Survivor Series, the pre-show, post-show, whatever. We'll figure it out. Till then, like and subscribe, and happy Thanksgiving. Peace.